So I want to pick up exactly this point about the transformation of other businesses. I mean, Facebook is part of all of our lives. You have over 1.6 billion users a month, as I understand it. But that is for social media, it's for communicating, it's for buying things. In broader business context, why is this a more profound change than, for example, word processors were? They didn't change all of our business models. Why is this more profound?
Mobile is the most profound disruption we've ever seen in business. This year at Davos in January, the theme was the fourth industrial revolution. And when you look at the pace of disruption, we've actually never experienced this in the history of any of our economies. The average lifespan of companies used to be about 67 years old. Now the average lifespan for the S&P 500 is looking to be 15 years. Companies that have been around for a very long time have to do one of four things. They either have to acquire a disruptor to inject that into their system, have a venture fund that invests in the disruptor so they can actually participate in it, build a parallel organization, or rewire their culture, which is the hardest thing to do.
You've talked about Facebook itself has been open about its own struggle as the mobile dynamic shifted so rapidly and really moving its own platform to capitalize on that. How are you using that to do exactly what you're saying there and sort of convincing companies of the profound cultural change they need to undergo to really capitalize on mobile?
Well, we actually lived this disruption ourselves, precisely as you said. When we went public, we had no mobile revenue, and our mobile app at that time was built on HTML5, and it wasn't particularly good. So Mark actually held a company all hands, declared we needed to be not only mobile first, but mobile best, and then drove cultural change very, very quickly. That first product review, when the team walked into his conference room and showed him a desktop mock-up, he ended the meeting. And until people came back in with mobile first, there were no meetings with Mark to do product reviews, and that sent a message very, very quickly. We retrained all of our engineers within a period of weeks. We rebuilt our mobile app native to iOS and Android, and now over 80% of our revenue is based on mobile. So we went through this transition, and we're continuing to go through transitions. Mobile is not the only one we've gone through. We've seen visual communications take off, which is why we acquired Instagram, which now has 400 million people using it, 200,000 businesses are on Instagram. We acquired WhatsApp and pulled Messenger out and now have 1 billion people on WhatsApp, 900 million on Messenger because of the inflow of what we were seeing of people wanting to communicate with businesses. So we are constantly seeing consumer behavior evolving, and the Facebook today looks entirely different than Facebook from 2012.
The conversion to the transition to mobile is an amazing story for Facebook, no question about it. Other companies haven't been quite that successful, I think it's fair to say. And particularly when you go back to more traditional bricks and mortar companies, manufacturing companies and things, you see a lot more failures than you do successes. Do you see any, do you have any examples of traditional companies who've made that transition to digital and mobile?
Sure. So each day there are 1,000 apps that get submitted to iOS and Android. So 1,000 companies every day are trying to disrupt not only industries, but brand by brand across every vertical. General Motors is an interesting example of a company who is trying to participate in what could be new and emerging models with their $500 million investment in Lyft. General Motors is very active on Facebook with Mary Barr.
And cruise automation from your neck of the woods out in San Francisco.
Exactly.
Autonomous
driving they're investing heavily in. And Mary personally is using Facebook. She's an amazing example of a CEO who has seen the trends in transparent and authentic communication, and she's utilizing the platform not just for business, but also for communicating her message. So I think that's an interesting one to watch.
But when we look at this, I've heard you say that as much as mobile has been such a profound disruptor, that video and live video could be even more of a disruptor going forward. Tell me a little bit about where you see what you're looking at in terms of content and where you see video going.
Absolutely. So we believe video can even be more disruptive than mobile, which is a shocking statement. Every day, 100 million hours of video are being consumed on Facebook. On Instagram, we've had a 40% increase in video consumption over the last 6 months. Consumers love the format of telling stories through sight, sound, and motion. And so we're exploring everything from allowing consumers and businesses to go live, which is a product we just recently launched and is growing incredibly quickly, all the way to businesses allowing them to communicate their story through everything from 3 seconds and all the way to much longer format. Kleenex did a wonderful piece that actually allowed people to have emotional moments in their news feed, and perhaps they would need a Kleenex for those moments. It was seen by and watched for over 2 minutes. Typically, mobile video, though, is a very different consuming factor, and most consumers will watch shorter form, often with sound off, And so brands and marketers need to fundamentally rethink the way they actually go to market with mobile video.